Okay, today we're going to talk about decimal, fraction, and percent conversions. I'm going to get some of this light out here. I just turned on my way back there. And then let me see. Okay, that should make it a little better to see. So the first thing, this is the title of the lesson: decimal, percent, and fraction conversions. So make sure it's showing. Let me get out of the way. So decimal, percent, and fraction conversions. And we have our little wheels. So we're going to start right here in the middle with decimal to percent. That's D2P. Okay, so if you look in your foldable and you go to steps where it says decimal to percent, the steps are move the decimal 2 places to the right and then write the percent sign behind the number. Another way to remember, if I'm going decimal to percent, 1, 2. So I'm going 2 places to the right if I write D2P. Another thing we're doing is when you move 2 places to the right, that's the same as multiplying by 100. So I'm going to give you a moment to write those down. Okay, let me get out of the screen because it's messing up the light again. Okay, so here's an example. 0.31. That's a decimal. So I'm going to move 2 places to the right. 1, 2. So my decimal is now there. So this is equal to 31%. You don't write that leading zero. That's in front of the decimal. Oh, good. Which is the same as multiplying by 100. Because if I said 0.31 times 100, 0, 0, 1, 3. We don't have to write that leading zero. So I got 2 spaces here, 2 spaces here. I end up with 31. And I put my percent sign at the end because I'm converting a decimal to a percent. Okay? Let's look at a 0.07. Again, we're going to move our decimal 2 places to the right. And I'm standing in front of it. And that's going to give us 7%. Okay, now 0.61. Okay, I don't have another place. So I have to add a zero. I can add as many zeros as I want behind the decimal. So that'll give me my 2 places. So that's going to be 60%. But what if I had something like this? I'm still going to move the decimal 2 places to the right, and that's going to equal 134%. So it's the same. So you got the wheel, you have the D2P, so you can remember it that way. You can remember to multiply by 100. But don't forget to put your percent sign behind it. Now this time we're going to do percent to decimal. So if we look on our wheel and we go percent to decimal, we'll see the steps say move the decimal 2 places to the left. If you do not see a decimal, then it is right behind the last digit in the number. And of course, you will remove the percent sign. So this one is percent to decimal. And we can still use our D2P, but if I go percent to decimal, 1, 2, I'm going 2 to the left. So I got to move 2 spaces or 2 place values to the left, or divide by 100. All of those will get you there. So let's give an example. So if I had 96%, I don't see my decimal, but technically it's right there. So you're going to put it behind your whole number. And then I'm going to move it 2 places to the left. 1, 2. So that's my new decimal. So that's equal to 0.96. Same thing here. That's not the same thing here. Okay. 7%. Okay, my decimal originally is there, and I need to move it over 2 to the left, but I'm looking like, wow, I only got 1 place to move it. Actually, I can add another 0. So 7% is 0.07, or just write 0.07. That way you'll see your decimal. And this one, 132%. My decimal is here, 1, 2, and that's equal to 1.32. So we did decimal to percent and percent to decimal. I'm looking around, decimal to percent, percent to decimal. Let's do decimal to fraction. And the thing for decimal to fraction says, move your decimal place 2 places to the right, place your number in the numerator with 100 in the denominator, and then reduce as far as possible. So this is decimal. There is another way to do this, but I'll show you this way first. So on your wheel, it says, let me find my example, 0.04. It says, move your decimal 2 places to the right. So my new number is 4. So I put 4 over 100, and then I simplify. And I have learned to simplify using the GCM, LCM, GCF method. So what goes into 4 and 100? 4 does. 4 goes into 4 one time. 4 goes into 20. It goes into 100 25 times. 4 goes into 4 one time. 4 goes into 100 25 times. That's my fraction. So that's one way you can do it. Another way you can do it is to just use your place value of your decimal. I say learn one way that you know you're going to always remember. I do this one most of the time. So if I'm looking at a decimal, let me do this. So this is my tens place, tenths, hundredths, THS, thousandths, so and so forth. You don't have to write this down. I'm just using it for illustration. So this spot here, this is my tenth spot. So I would do my 4 over 10, and then I simplify. 2 goes in the 4 2 times, 2 goes in the 10 5 times. Or I can do it this way. So this is the second method. First method is what we said. Move it over 2 places to the right. So 1, 2. So that will give me 40. Then I put 40 over 100. And then I simplify that. I know that 10 goes into both of them because it ends in 0. And then I know that 2 goes to both of them because they're even. Same thing. So it's the same. We get to the same point with 2 different methods. I want to show you one more with the same thing, decimal to fraction, and then we'll end it right here. So let's say I have 0.38. So I move it over 2 places. So this is going to be 38 over 100. And then I'm going to use my super duper method. 2 goes in both of them because they're even numbers. Okay, so 2 goes into 38 19 times. You can check me on that. 2 goes in 150 times. 19 is a prime number. So we're at 1 and done. This is my fraction. 19 over 50. So let's go ahead and write that one down. Okay, now let me do another number, but it's going to look kind of familiar. This one is 1.38. When I have a 1 or any kind of number to the left of my decimal, that is going to be my whole number portion of a mixed fraction. So I go ahead and write my 1. Well, we already know 0.38 is 19 over 50. Okay? So 1 and 19/50. Okay, so we covered 3. We'll cover the other 3 Monday. So I put a practice sheet up for you. Go ahead and get that done. Get some practice in. Just do the ones that we covered. That was, what was it? Decimal to percent. Wait a minute. Decimal to percent, percent to decimal, and decimal to fraction. That's these 3. So on the worksheet, only do the problems that are concerned with converting a decimal to a percent, a decimal to a fraction, and a percent to a decimal, and then we'll cover the other part.